What if I told you that the biggest mistake that people make when trying to get an 800 plus credit score has nothing to do with paying on time? It's not about interest rates. It's not about how much money you make. It's about a simple number, the number of credit cards that you have in your wallet. Most people are either way too low or way too high, and both can be costing you serious points. The conventional advice is all over the map, right? Some say one is all you need to be safe, and others say you need a dozen to play the rewards game. The truth is, there is a strategic sweet spot. And in this video, I'm going to break down the exact number of credit cards that you should aim for based on your goals. We'll go through the different stages of card ownership from zero to expert so that you can see exactly where you are and where your next move should be to unlock your highest possible score. Now, before we even get into the numbers, let's do a little reality check. If your credit score isn't looking too hot, maybe from late payments, collections, or charge-offs from years ago, then let me tell you right now that adding more cards is not the solution. The first step is getting that score back up. And for that, I always point people to the credit people. Their average client sees their score go up 50 to 100 points or more, often in less than 60 days. So I'll just leave a link to that in the description below. Okay, now let's start at the very beginning. This is phase one, having no credit cards at all. It's the cash is king philosophy where the goal is to avoid credit entirely. And while the discipline is admirable, in our modern economy, being a credit ghost can create some major headaches. Even if you have zero plans to ever borrow money, your credit file is used for more than just loans. Think about it. Getting the best rates on car insurance, setting up utilities for a new apartment without a huge deposit, even signing a contract for a new cell phone. All of these involve a peek at your credit history. So when companies see a thin or non-existent file, they don't see someone who is responsible with cash. They see an unknown variable. And this can lead to higher insurance premiums, bigger security deposits, and just more friction in your financial life. Plus, without any access to credit, a single unexpected emergency can become a full-blown crisis if your savings run dry. But the fear of credit card debt is valid, but a tool is only as dangerous as how you use it. A credit card, when managed with discipline, is not a liability, but a powerful asset. So if you're open to seeing how you can make credit cards work for you instead of against you, then let's move on to the next phase. This brings us to phase two, where most people feel comfortable, and that's the solo flyer. These are the folks with just one trusty credit card, and on the surface, this feels like the responsible choice. It's simple, it's easy to track, and it's definitely a huge step up from having no credit at all. But here's the hidden catch. Relying on a single card can put an invisible ceiling on your credit score potential. You're not doing anything wrong, but you're not playing the game to its full potential either. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. First, you're only building a payment history with a single account. Second, your credit mix is viewed as less diverse. And most importantly, your credit utilization ratio can get out of whack very easily. Just imagine you have one card with a $2,000 limit. If you spend $800 on it one month, you're using 40% of your available credit, which can flag you as a higher risk and temporarily drop your score. Now imagine you had 3 cards with a combined limit of $6,000. That same $800 in spending is now less than 14% utilization, which looks fantastic to the credit bureaus. It's like trying to build a strong physique by only ever working out your right arm. Sure, it's better than nothing, but you're ignoring all the other muscles that create the true strength. Many people stick with one card out of fear that more cards will mean more debt. But when used responsibly, more lines of credit actually create more stability for your score, not more risk. Now, if you're committed to being a solo flyer, then you'll have to make that one card count. So your best bet is to find one with a generous credit limit and some kind of universal reward, like a flat rate cashback card that gives you money back on every purchase. If phase 2 is the starting line, then phase 3 is the optimal zone for score building. I call this the power trio. For the vast majority of people whose primary goal is achieving the highest credit score possible, and having 2 or 3 cards is the absolute sweet spot. This range perfectly satisfies all 5 major credit scoring factors. Let's run quickly through all of them. First, payment history. Managing 2 or 3 accounts is still very straightforward. You can set an auto pay and easily track them. But now you're feeding the algorithm 2 or 3 times the positive payment data each month. Second, amounts owed, or utilization. With multiple cards, your total available credit is much higher. This means that your normal spending will represent a much smaller percentage of your limit, which keeps your utilization score low and your credit score high. Third, length of credit history. By opening a few good cards and holding onto them for the long haul, you build a stable average age for your accounts. This anchor of aged accounts becomes more powerful over time. Fourth, new credit. Since you're not constantly applying for new cards, you'll have very few hard inquiries on your report, which helps keep your score stable and improves your odds of approval when you do need a loan. And fifth, credit mix. Having a few revolving credit card accounts shows lenders that you can responsibly manage different types of credit, which gives your score a healthy boost. You could honestly stay in this phase forever and maintain an excellent credit profile. The only real danger here is the temptation to overspend if you start carrying balances, because the interest rates are going to eat you alive. So for those people in the power trio phase, you can create a simple, effective system. For example, having one card for groceries and gas, a second for travel and dining, and a third as a general catch-all card can maximize your rewards without overcomplicating your life. Of course, building a great score here is most effective when you're starting with a clean slate, but if you're dealing with old, negative items that are holding you back, it can feel like you're running with weights on, and trying to fix all that yourself can be a major headache. So, if you'd rather have a team of pros just handle it all for you and get your score back up, then I will drop a link to that below as well. Okay, so you could park yourself in the power trio phase and be set for life. But what if you already have more than 3 cards? Or you're ready to graduate to the next level of financial strategy? Well, then welcome to phase 4, which is the strategist. At this point, the goal shifts from just building a great score to using that score to maximize rewards and opportunities. There are generally 2 kinds of people who operate at this level: the point professionals, who are travel hackers and cashback connoisseurs, and the funding hackers, who are leveraging high credit limits and 0% APR offers for things like business ventures or real estate investments. So, does having, say, 10 cards destroy your credit score? The answer is yes and no. While the absolute most optimized scores for simplicity are in that 2 to 3 card range, the negative impact on having more cards is much smaller than most people think, provided you manage them properly. Here's how it affects your score. First, your average age of account takes a small, temporary hit each time you add a new card. But once you have a strong base of older cards, they act as an anchor, so the impact of the new one is minimal. Second, you'll have more hard inquiries from applying more often. These can cause small, short-term dips in your score. So you wouldn't want to apply for a bunch of new cards right before you apply for a mortgage. Now, a great question I see all the time is, should I close my old cards to get back down to 3? Usually the answer is no. When you close a credit card, you instantly lose its available credit limit, which can cause your overall utilization to spike up. That closed account can stay on your report for up to 10 years, but it stops contributing to the age and strength of your active credit profile. In most cases, it's better to keep it open and unused than to close it. The upside of being a strategist is incredible, though. Rock bottom utilization, a thick and resilient credit file, and access to a world of rewards and funding. The downside is it requires serious organization and discipline. So let's do a quick recap. Phase 1 with 0 cards is a risky place to be in today's world. Phase 2 with 1 card is a good start, but your score's potential is capped. Phase 3 with 2 to 3 cards is the absolute sweet spot for optimizing your credit score. And Phase 4 with 4 or more cards is for the advanced user focused on maximizing rewards of leverage. Ultimately, no matter which phase you're in, a clean credit report is the key that unlocks everything else. So if your score is the only thing standing between you and getting approved for that new house or new car you want, it's definitely worth getting some expert help. So the credit people that I've mentioned before, they specialize in this, and they even offer a free consultation to see what they can do for your specific situation. You can check them out in the description below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.